this Texas race. We had a young man running, 41 years old, spectacular background as a solid conservative. Even worked in the Bush administration for a time, was a clerk to the former Chief Justice, late Chief Justice William Rehnquist. Won a major Supreme Court decision later against the Bush administration, which was essentially abandoning our sovereignty for the demands of the regime in Mexico. But for our friends like Jeb Bush and George Bush and Karl Rove, the perfect candidate, right? A Hispanic, conservative, rallied the base. Now, Jeb Bush's son worked on the Cruz campaign. But did Jeb Bush endorse Cruz? No. Did George W. Bush endorse Cruz? No. Did Karl Rove endorse Cruz? No. Now, Karl Rove, Texas is his home turf. George W. Bush and the Bush dynasty, that's their home turf. Here we had a conservative, articulate, experienced candidate who happened to be Hispanic. And the people who continue to preach to us about pandering on the merits of this candidate, who should have been back for that alone, sat silently because they didn't want to get involved, because Dewars was lieutenant governor, because all the big establishment money, not all of it, a lot of it, was going to Dewars. So George W. Bush didn't get involved. So Jeb Bush didn't get involved. So Karl Rove didn't get involved. Now, what does that tell you? Tells me a lot. Now, who did get involved? Sarah Palin and Jim DeMint and Rand Paul and Mike Lee, my buddy Rick Santorum. I can't name everybody. Coburn, Toomey. Isn't that interesting? And not because of Ted's skin color, but because of the content of his character. But even so, where was Jeb Bush? Where was George W. Bush? Where was Karl Rove? They were nowhere. They chose not to get involved. In Texas, they chose not to get involved with a young, up-and-coming star who happened to be Hispanic. And people like me, Sean Hannity, and others, people I mentioned, other people I don't have time to mention, I can't remember, blah, 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 back Ted Cruz. I'm just pointing something out to you, which is we conservatives, we don't give a damn about skin color or gender or weight or height or any of the rest of it. We have a great candidate who wants to defend individual liberty and private property rights, who wants to defend the Constitution, who believes in the Declaration of Independence, who's going to fight as an independent conservative voice in Congress. We're going to back him or her. Where are the rest of them? Where are the rhinos? They back the other guy. They back the other guy. Isn't that interesting? I thought I'd point that out. Sarah Palin was on Fox News, Greta Van Susteren's show yesterday. I don't watch it. I just have other things I have to do. But people were texting me and saying, "Oh, I hope you saw this." I said, "Why?" Well, I'll play it for you. Sarah Palin is asked about the Ted Cruz victory by Greta Van Susteren. Cut 7, go.
They recognized Ted Cruz was the man. It's the Tea Party patriots who work so hard for him, and he's going to do so well for all of Americans when he makes it to Washington, D.C. You know what? A shout-out, too, to Mark Levin, who has known this guy for 20 years. Mark Levin first started talking about him, kind of piqued my interest in who Ted Cruz was, in mentioning that he had worked with him about 20 years ago, and how Ted Cruz he's a 9th and 10th Amendment scholar. He understands and has written theses and really has been able to articulate well the beauty of our 9th and 10th Amendments of our Constitution, and he has applied that throughout his career. So he was the man versus Dewhurst, who's part of the machine, the establishment there in Texas and in Washington, D.C. He was the outsider to come in and promise that reform.
That's what I mean. She's a gracious lady. She doesn't seek to draw credit to herself. And I'm going to tell you something else. I told a friend this last night. They put her down. This former governor of Alaska has either learned more since she ran for vice president or knew more before about the Constitution, about history, about economics, about the state of this nation than all of her critics combined. All the little hatchet jobs. All the little sniveling nobodies. The quislings who run around Washington, D.C., fatten themselves up eating steaks, charge people to give them bad advice, and in the end don't give a damn about the future of this country. Just whoever will pay them for their stupid advice. She knows more than all of them put together. That's why they despise her. She went into Texas, not once but twice, to campaign for Cruz. I didn't see a lot of her critics down there. And she's exactly right. It's the Tea Party. It's conservatives. It's constitutionalists. You're the people. I mean, even if you're not a formal member of a Tea Party, I'm not a formal member, but I am one. That is, I am a Tea Party activist. I am a conservative. I am a Reaganite, a constitutionalist. All those things really mean the same thing.